iPhone OS 1. The first version of Apple's mobile operating system arrived in 2007 alongside the original iPhone. At the time, it felt very different from other phones because it focused almost entirely on touch controls instead of physical keyboards. It included core apps like Phone, Safari, Mail, Photos, and iPod, but it did not support third-party apps. Even with its limitations, it completely changed expectations for smartphones and laid the foundation for everything that followed. iPhone OS 2. The second release arrived in 2008 and introduced one feature that changed the platform forever: the App Store. For the first time, developers could create applications for millions of users around the world. Support for Microsoft Exchange also made the iPhone much more attractive for business users. This version turned the iPhone into a growing software platform instead of just a great phone. iPhone OS 3. Released in 2009, this version focused on making everyday use easier. It introduced copy and paste, MMS messaging, landscape keyboard support in more apps, voice memos, and Spotlight search. Many features people now take for granted first appeared here, making the iPhone feel much more complete. iOS 4. Apple renamed the operating system from iPhone OS to iOS in 2010. The biggest addition was multitasking, allowing supported apps to continue certain activities in the background. Folders helped organize apps, while FaceTime introduced high-quality video calling between Apple devices. The platform was becoming more powerful without losing its simple design. iOS 5. Released in 2011, iOS 5 introduced Notification Center, iMessage, Newsstand, reminders, and wireless setup without needing a computer. iCloud also arrived, making it much easier to sync photos, contacts, and files across devices. These changes helped connect Apple's growing ecosystem. iOS 6. In 2012, Apple replaced Google Maps with its own Maps application. The launch was controversial because the new service contained many errors. At the same time, Siri became more capable. Passbook arrived for digital tickets, and Do Not Disturb gave users better control over notifications. iOS 7. This version marked the biggest visual redesign in iPhone history. Introduced in 2013, it replaced realistic textures with a cleaner and flatter interface. Control Center, AirDrop, and improved multitasking also appeared, creating a modern design language that influenced Apple software for years. iOS 8. Released in 2014, iOS 8 expanded what apps could do by allowing extensions and custom keyboards. Family sharing made purchases easier to share, while Health and Health Kit connected fitness and medical apps in one place. Apple also introduced continuity, bringing Macs and iPhones closer together. iOS 9. The focus shifted toward performance and reliability in 2015. Low power mode helped extend battery life. Notes became much more capable, and iPad users gained multitasking features. Apple spent considerable effort improving stability after the major redesign of previous years. iOS 10. Arriving in 2016, iOS 10 redesigned the lock screen, expanded Siri for third-party apps, improved messages with stickers and effects, and added the Home app for smart home devices. It reflected Apple's growing interest in connected living. iOS 11. Released in 2017, this update focused heavily on the iPad, while also bringing Files, a redesigned Control Center, ARKit for augmented reality, and screen recording to the iPhone. Developers quickly began exploring new augmented reality experiences. iOS 12. Apple concentrated on speed in 2018. Older iPhones became noticeably faster, while screen time helped users understand their phone habits. Shortcuts allowed powerful automation without requiring technical knowledge. iOS 13. Dark mode became one of the most requested features and finally arrived in 2019. Apple also improved privacy, redesigned photos, enhanced sign-in with Apple, and separated the iPad into its own operating system called iPadOS. iOS 14. Home screen widgets and the app library completely changed how people organized their iPhones in 2020. Picture-in-picture, app clips, and stronger privacy controls also arrived, giving users more flexibility and transparency. iOS 15. Introduced in 2021, iOS 15 emphasized communication and focus. FaceTime gained spatial audio and SharePlay, while Focus Mode reduced distractions by filtering notifications based on activity. iOS 16. Released in 2022, this update made the lock screen customizable for the first time. Users could add widgets, change fonts, and switch between different lock screen styles. It also introduced editable messages and useful improvements to photos and mail. iOS 17. In 2023, Apple focused on making communication feel more personal. Contact posters customized incoming calls. Name drops simplified sharing contact information. Standby turned the iPhone into a smart display, while charging and improvements reached FaceTime and messages. iOS 18. Released in 2024, iOS 18 gave users much greater control over customization. Apps and widgets could be arranged more freely. Control Center became highly customizable, and Apple Intelligence began bringing advanced on-device and cloud-assisted AI features to supported iPhones. It marked Apple's biggest step into the era of artificial intelligence while continuing to strengthen privacy. iOS 26. Introduced in 2026, after Apple's New Year-based naming strategy, iOS 26 represents the next generation of the platform. It features the liquid glass visual design, deeper Apple Intelligence integration, smarter communication tools, and broader system-wide improvements that make the iPhone feel more responsive and more personal while keeping Apple's focus on privacy and seamless integration across devices.